Welcome back, everybody, to the Cowboy Slot Channel, where we bring you experienced advice from years of working in the casinos, tips, reviews, and so much more. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay notified for when we come out with future videos. If you're new to the channel, be sure to check out our extensive video library. We have tons of tips and information in there to help you better your slot play and your casino experience. And of course, it's always free. In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys some really good tips and information, especially if you've never been to Las Vegas before. Las Vegas is one of the most popular gaming destinations in the world that millions of people travel to each and every month. Myself and Mark are getting ready to go to Las Vegas next week for the Global Gaming Expo 2022. So we wanted to put together some helpful tips for those of you out there that are coming to Las Vegas. If you love slot machines like we do, but you're not quite sure which machines to pick, check out this video in the card in the upper right-hand corner of your screen for the top 5 machines to avoid. We're also going to be putting links in the video description down below for the top 5 best machines and the top 5 worst machines. So I'm going to hand it off now to Mark to give you guys some really great tips on how to make the best and the most of your Las Vegas trip.
All right, thanks, Brentley. Yes, G2E is finally here. That means in a couple days we're going to be on the flight and on the road into Las Vegas, and hopefully to see you guys if you're able to come out. If not, no big deal. We'll have plenty of meetups, and we hope to see you again in the future. However, you may be watching this later and you may be traveling to Las Vegas soon. And so what we want to do in this video is give you a couple tips to, avoid scams, how to protect your bankroll, what kind of machines to play, what other things to do in Vegas. And that way you can really have an enjoyable time, because Vegas can be a trap if you're not careful. And so that's what this video is for, is to teach you some tricks on how to make the best out of your stay in Las Vegas. And we're going to start number 1 with the lockbox. All right, so we've talked about this a lot on this channel, and that is about the lockbox. It doesn't really matter what kind you get. They have some that are pocket size. They have some that are a little larger, like this. This was $7 or $8 on Amazon, very inexpensive. Has a little slot in the top where you can stick your bills and your money, etc. And keys, where do these go? You keep those at home. You're only taking this. This is what you're taking to Las Vegas. The keys stay here. And the idea here is that you put the money in the slot here and you're not able to access it until you get home. There are a lot of different ways to do this. We've heard a couple things. We're going to try a couple things. We'll start with the daily budget. And at the end of the day, whatever we have left, we'll put in the lockbox here and we'll have some money when we get home. So this is a very, very valuable thing to have with you, whether you get a large one or a small one. This is really good for managing your bankroll. Look, you may have all the willpower in the world, but when you get into that casino and you're playing with friends and everybody's having a good time, it's very easy to go to the ATM and start getting more cash out, and then things can get kind of crazy. And then you end up coming home and you're tired, exhausted, and you look at your bank account and you're like, yikes, what happened? Lockbox. Every time you get a win, let's say you double your bet, or double your winnings from your bet, or whatever the case is, you hit a jackpot, stuff that money in here and come back with this. And guess what? You'll be really excited when you come back from Vegas. And now you have a budget for your next trip to Vegas. Pretty cool, huh? So get one of these. They're very inexpensive. They're very small. I'm just going to throw this in my luggage, and I'm not going to gamble a whole lot, but every little bit helps to put in this thing, and you can have some money when you come back. So let's go on to step number 2 about bettering your time in Las Vegas and preparing, and that is avoiding scams. So we're going to talk about some of the popular scams right now. Now, I know what you're saying. Scams in Las Vegas can't be true. Yes, it's very true. And actually, it hasn't been as bad lately as it used to be in the past, but there are still some common scams going on, and we're going to try to help protect you against those in this little clip here. So the first one is called 3 Monty. Now, you probably have seen this before if you've ever walked the Strip. Last couple times I walked the Strip, I haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean it's still out there. Maybe downtown and some of the other areas where there's not a lot of police activity and stuff being monitored, maybe they show up more. But anyway, 3-card Monty is where somebody is playing with 3 cards and you're like, find the queen, find the queen. Or another version of it is they have cups and they have a ball and they're like, find the ball, follow the ball. It's a complete scam. They use a lot of sleight of hand to replace your card and stuff like that. And the way that they convince you that it's not a scam is they have a bystander who is in on the scam themselves, and they're constantly winning. And so you see that and you go up and you're like, oh, I can do that. That's easy. And then they start scamming you and you lose. So don't ever play 3-card Monty or any variation of it. You see somebody on the sidewalk and they come up and say, hey, I have a guaranteed way for you to double your money right now. You don't even have to go to the casino. tell them no way, just keep walking. All right, so 3-card money is the first scam to look for. All right, the second scam is called the CD, MP3 player, whatever you want to call it scam. I guess CDs are kind of phased out now, but I still find these people. They're usually on the bridges going in between casinos and stuff. They want to sell you a CD. They're like, hey, here, listen, this is a rap tape or a rap CD. I'm really aging myself. Rap tape, right. CD, MP3s, whatever they have, you know, a USB stick that has their album on it for free or whatever. Guys, most of the time you will pay for these and you get home and it's blank. If you don't pay for it and they're like, just give it to you, they will hound you. They will follow you. You're like, what? You're not going to pay me? I just gave you free music. Just avoid these people. You can feel free to just ignore them. Just keep walking when they come in. They can be very aggressive. So just keep walking, or if you want to say something, just be polite and say no thanks and keep walking. They're there to scam you in most instances, so don't do it. So that is number 2 on the scam. Let's talk about number 3 now. All right, this one might be a little gross, but hang with me a little bit. It's called the water bottle scam. And these people are also on the bridges in between casinos and on the sidewalks and stuff like this. They're selling you bottled water for $1. What a deal, right? Ice cold, sitting in the chest. If you ever bought something from them, you will notice that before they hand you the bottle, they will twist the cap and hand it to you. That is because they are refilling those bottles. They're basically finding bottles that are in recycling or in the trash bins or God knows where, and pulling them out and refilling them and selling them to you, and they are not sealed. Do not buy water from these people. I know it's expensive in the casinos. I know it. But you know what? You don't have to buy water in the casino. You can go to Walgreens, CVS. These places are right on the strip. They have reasonable prices for water. And on the topic of water, stay hydrated in Vegas. Guys, I live in a very humid area, and every time I go to Vegas, I find myself not drinking as much water as I should. So drink that water. That's just a little bonus tip there. That's not really a scam. That's just good advice. All right, number 4 on the scam list is one that's not so much a deal anymore, but it could still exist. And that is the taxi scam. And that is where they try to take you the absolute longest way possible to your casino from the airport or wherever you're coming from. Guys, most of the time it's flat rate nowadays from the airport to a downtown casino or to the strip. I would never spend more than $20 every time I've taken a cab there. It's been less than $20, including tip. So if they're charging you more than that, or they look like they're going the long way, call them out and say, hey, what are you doing? I know where the strip is. You're going the wrong way. Don't do that. So anyway, you know, most of the time that's not a problem anymore, but we do want you to be aware that there are some taxi scams out there. And if you feel uncomfortable about it, find one of the people at the actual taxi lines that are directing you to the certain area to go and ask them what the reasonable fare is from your location, the airport, for instance, to the casino downtown, and they will tell you exactly how much it should be. Okay, and the 5th and final scam we're going to talk about is, I call it the all of the above scam. And basically what this means is somebody will try to scam you out of money, and they have an infinite supply of stories that they will tell you that will try to convince you that you can give them money. I've heard it all. And if you're especially if you're in a casino and you're playing a slot machine, you get a big win or something and somebody was watching you, they may approach you and say, wow, congratulations, that's an awesome win. How much money did you put in there? Blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly they whip out the story. Hey, can I ask you a question? Usually when you hear that, you know what's coming, right? Either they just say, hey, can you spot me a couple hundred? I'm down, whatever the case is. Or they may come up with a creative story. I've heard a story where somebody said, hey, my ATM card isn't working. Can you go with me to the cashier's cage and see if they'll give me money that way? Why do they need to involve you? Use your brain. Think about it. Why are people trying to put you through all that stuff? Guys, casinos are a place where there is a lot of fun and a lot of excitement, but there is a dark side. And security is usually pretty good at spotting these people, but they're getting more and more creative. So just be very careful when you're in the casino and somebody approaches you that you don't know. Immediately go on the defensive and be ready for anything. And don't get so concerned that you need to scare yourself or anything like that, but be aware of your surroundings. Be ready with a statement saying, no, I'm not falling for this, or hey, I know how this scam goes, and they'll likely leave after that. They'll go find somebody else. What I always do is, if that does happen, immediately go find a slot attendant or a floor supervisor or anybody and let them know that that person is roaming around, and they will kick them out. So do everybody, all your other patrons in the casino, do them a favor and rat those people out so they can get out of there so that you guys can have a better time. All right, so that ends it on the scams. Now we're going to talk about some things that you can do in Vegas outside of gambling. And when Brantley and I are in the casino or in Las Vegas next week during G2E, we're going to go film some of these places so you can see what's actually out there, some stuff that you can do. So let's go ahead and get into those and see what you can do outside of those casinos in Las Vegas. Guys, Vegas has a lot to offer outside of the casinos. You know, the casinos and the hotels probably don't want you to know that, right? That's why they don't put windows on the, on the buildings. There's no clocks anywhere. They want you to get disoriented and stay in there and keep gaming. And they'll be certainly happy to have you there for 4 days and you don't leave. You just stay there and gamble. But there is a lot to do outside of Vegas. So we're going to tell you about some of the things that we like to do personally and hope you get some enjoyment out of it because there's a lot to see. All right, number one on my list is the Pinball Hall of Fame, and this is now located on the Strip. It's pretty much about across the street from the Mandalay Bay, so kind of way on the south side. They moved to this building a couple years ago. They used to be on Tropicana, so they have a much bigger facility now. They have a lot more games. Guys, this is the place to be if you ever grew up on playing pinball machines or arcade. But even if you didn't, go check it out. Everything is on quarters. They donate everything to charity. It's an amazing place. You're going to have a blast there. It's not going to cost you more than $20, and you can be there for hours. So I highly recommend going and checking it out. It's a very good experience. They have old pinball. They have new pinball. They've got your classics like air hockey and arcade-style games. It's just a lot of fun. And if you do end up bringing your kids to Vegas, make sure you take them down there too, because they'll get a kick out of it. All right, and the next thing you can do if you're an outdoor person, look, Red Rocks is west of Vegas and only about 20 minutes away. And there is a tremendous amount of hiking out there. Now, I would definitely not go out there in the middle of summer, but now it's kind of getting into the fall and the winter and the spring. Those are the times to go out there. There's a ton of hiking trails. It's very beautiful. In fact, when you go there and you start hiking, you're like, I can't believe this place is just 20 miles west of Vegas, because it just doesn't seem like, it seems like it's out of place. Let me just put it that way. But if you're an outdoor person, you like hiking, you like getting out and seeing the, the sun and everything like that, that is definitely a place to go check out. All right, and another thing to do is all the places to eat in Vegas. Oh my gosh, I love all the food in Vegas. That's probably my number one reason I go, is because of the food. I have my usual places that I like to go, but every time I go there, I try a new place out just to see if I'm going to add it to my list or not. There's so many. Every casino has dozens of different places to eat. And even off of the Strip, downtown in the Fremont area, there's places to eat. And there's places outside of the Strip area that are just so good. Guys, experience the food while you're in Vegas. They bring a lot of, multicultural experiences in. And so you can get any type of food that you want, and simply the best that it can be, because they want to attract as many people as they can to their restaurants. And so go check it out, explore it, talk to your friends, talk to your slot buddy that's playing with you, ask them where they went to eat and what they recommend, that kind of stuff. You can learn a lot from that, and just have a blast checking out all the places to eat. Don't just stick to McDonald's. I mean, if you're on a budget, go to McDonald's, but save some of that gambling money for those restaurants, because I think you'll really appreciate doing that. All right, and while you're at it, go check out Fremont Street, downtown Vegas. Boy, if any place in Vegas has gone through so many changes, it's got to be downtown. And I have not been down there in probably 5 years, so I plan on going down there when we're there next week, because I want to see the experience. I want to see what's different about it. It was always kind of shady, maybe 10 years ago or so. I didn't really feel comfortable down there. It just didn't feel safe, if that makes sense. But it's not like that anymore. It's much different, a little bit more upscale. They put in a great light show. There's some zip lines down there. Lots of casinos with just open air casinos, meaning that there's no doors or anything. You just walk in, and they have a lot of those old school slots. So if you're looking for those, go play the downtown casino. You can find some of those machines that you just don't find on the Strip anymore. So go check that place out too. All right, so we're going to talk about budgeting here. Now, we did an in-depth video on the best way to budget your money when in the casino, and we'll link that up here, as well as put a card at the end of this video, because it's very important that you see all of the different tips that we have to better your bankroll and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about the basics right here, because you are about to hit Las Vegas, and you're very excited, and you need to come down a little bit and understand that it's very easy to lose your money and lose your mind when you're in a casino. Again, we don't want that to happen. We see it happen to a lot of people. We wanted you to keep your cool and have a fun time and come back with some of that cash. Now, we already talked about the cash box. That's very important, number one. But the second thing is the money that you actually bring to the casino. So before you pack your bags, before you leave, before you go to the airport or you start your drive, leave all accesses to cash at home. I'm talking about ATM cards, credit cards, checks, you name it. They'll cash all of that stuff, and they'll do it with a smile on their face while they're counting out those bills. You got to be careful to make sure that you do not overextend your bankroll whenever you're inside of a casino. And so the best way to do that is only take the physical cash that you plan to gamble with, understanding that you might lose that money. And if you leave all the accesses to cash at home, you don't have to worry about going crazy. And so it's very important to do that. Now, if you have to take let's say a backup credit card, you never know, something happens, incidentals, whatever, call the credit card company ahead of time and say, look, don't let me do any kind of cash advances or any withdrawals on this card, and they'll block it. So you don't have to worry about it. So just be very calm. It's going to be very difficult when you first get into that casino. The taxi drops you off, you run in there, you're like, bam, 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 feeding the bills. Just calm down, relax, have a plan, understand your daily budget, understand how much money you're going to lose. You do not want to lose your entire budget on the first day if you're there for multiple days, because you're going to be miserable. When all your friends are down there gambling, you're like, I'm out of cash. So don't do that. Plan your stay, plan the budget, your daily allotment, and stick to it. If you lose your money, go get something to eat, go do something else in Vegas. There's a lot to do besides gambling. So take advantage of that while you're there. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up, and I hope you enjoyed kind of some tips on your trip to Vegas. This is what we do to prepare and what we plan to do when we get there. Don't forget your lockbox, super important. Leave those keys at home. Do not take the keys with you. Destroys the purpose. You got to have the keys at home so you can't get into it. And, just have a fun time. Vegas can be a lot of fun, especially if you budget yourself and you know what to look for, avoiding those scams, coming back with your earnings, all that kind of stuff. It'll make the experience so much better. You got to understand that these things are so important when you go to Vegas. If you just let things kind of play by ear and you don't have a plan, it can get pretty dangerous pretty fast. So we, of course, don't want that to happen. So guys, have fun, enjoy Las Vegas, and be sure to come back and leave a comment in this video and tell us about your favorite places to eat, your favorite places to gamble, favorite places of things to do outside of the casino. Look, I only mentioned a couple things here. We want to know. So let us know in the comments below what you enjoy doing in Vegas. And we hope to see you again soon on the next video. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching. Check out these other videos and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more slot tips. It's always free. Visit ropethejackpot.com for free guides and a whole lot more. Catch you on the next episode.